Hello, Instagram. Good afternoon. Second day in a row. Second day in a row. Aren't you guys so lucky that you're getting me 2 days in a row live? How is everyone doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Dr. Iyabo from Atlanta. This is my tea time with Dr. Iyabo. Everybody, welcome. I was live yesterday and I'm back live today. So, hello everyone. We're going to just dive in. Today is my tea time with Dr. Iyabo. Coming to you from Atlanta. My name is Dr. Iyabo Webzel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a one-on-one relationship. Luna, be quiet. Neil, can you call Luna? Bad timing. I'm a one-on-one relationship, marriage, and dating coach. I'm also a business and financial coach and a wellness and weight loss coach. I'm that holistic coach you've all been looking for all your life. But today I have a wonderful guest for you. I have a treat for you. Dr. Sam Ekundayo is here. Want to hear what men want in a wife. So, Dr. Sam, I'm going to call you Dr. Sam for today because
Hello,
it's
Doc.
faster and it's
Good
easier.
afternoon, sir.
Hello,
How are you
Dr.
today?
Sam. Good afternoon, and good morning to you because women, I have to tell you how important you guys are, okay? Dr. Sam lives in New Zealand. And right now for me, I'm 2 p.m. in Atlanta, but guess what? Dr. Sam's
Yeah.
time is 7 a.m. New Zealand time. So he got up early to come and bless you guys and to point to you guys. So please just start telling him thank you now before we even start. So I will
Thanks for
start by
having me,
saying
Doc. It's a
thank
joy
you.
to be here. Great joy to be here.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Hopefully, after we finish, you can go back and take a nap. Please, and please tell my beautiful sister
Oh, thank you.
that
I
thank
will.
you. For her releasing
I
her
will.
husband
I
to
will.
us this
Thank you, man.
early.
And you look amazing. You look amazing. God bless
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. To God be the glory. Thank you. So, ladies, today we're discussing what do men want in a wife? Obviously,
It
that is a
is.
fully loaded question, but we will do our best to give you the gems today. And Dr. Sam is going to be, answering all my questions today. So we're going to dive in. However, some housekeeping things. If you have any questions,
Yeah.
type them in the question bubble because when the comments are rolling, I'll miss them. So just type all your questions in the question bubble so that I do not miss any of them. We'll take as many questions as we can, but obviously we won't be able to answer everything. Now, Dr. Sam, please talk to my community. Tell them a bit about
Thank you,
yourself
man.
and we'll
Once again, it's a
start.
joy to be here. Very, very, very counted a great privilege to be here. It's my first time on Dr. Yabo's platform, so I honor you, man. I celebrate you. So I am a senior lecturer. I'm a senior lecturer with the Open Polytechnic. I teach IT courses, so things like programming, software development, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth, because I have a PhD in business information systems. I live in New Zealand by the grace of God with my wife that I call my Dudu Shewa and treasure. We have 2 boys to the glory of God. Besides that, I am also a coach and a speaker. I'm often referred to as the purpose preacher because I believe the mandate of God on my life is to help other people find and live in accordance and alignment with the purpose of God for their life. I am a coach to many speakers, people who have a message to the world and are interested in taking that message to maximize their potential and reach all the people that they are destined to reach. So that is who I am in a nutshell. Thank you.
Wow, that is a lot. I love multi-talented
Thank you.
people. You
Thank
are
you.
one of those. Yeah, yeah. You're one of those multi-talented people. You use all of your gifts. You don't leave
Thank you.
any on the
Thank
table. I
you.
love it. I love it. Yes.
Sure.
So we're going to dive in, and I count that this is going to be the first of a
Looking
few
forward to
lives
all
that
of
we're
them.
going to have. So, yes, I'm so excited. So, Dr. Sam, as you know, my DMs are bombarded every day with women who have some problem in their relationship life or in their marriage life in some fashion or the other. Why are so many women struggling in their love lives?
Great
Why?
question. The interesting thing is we can't actually boil it down to one or two things. There are various reasons why a lot of people could be struggling. Because I also coach people. I coach women sometimes, maybe women who are trying to live out their potential, women who are trying to fulfill purpose. So I get the same kind of questions as well, sometimes in my DM and so on. But there are various reasons, and we'll just start with a few. Number one, the reason why many women are not happy is because they made the wrong choice maritally. Um, and when you're single and you're young and you're being told, oh, watch carefully, be careful the type of person, the type of man you marry, and all of that. It doesn't often make sense. It's more like people are restricting you, they're trying to cage you, they're trying to box you. Everyone's happy, you want to be happy as well. So everyone has good intentions, but eventually, many people choose wrongly. And the reason why many people are not very intentional about who they choose is because they let their emotions rule. They let their emotions guide them. And emotions, as we know, they can help you make some bad choices. And that's one of the reasons why many people are literally weeping and crying their marriage. Number two, some people will never let go of drama. Some women are very drama-driven, drama-oriented, even if they've made the right choice, but they just love a life of drama. And they will fight with this, fight with that, quarrel with that, nag that person, nag their husband, that could also be a reason. Number three, some women really, really also don't want to be happy. They have not yet matured to the level that they realize that their happiness is the first dependent on themselves, not on their husband, not on their environment, not on their economy, not on their bank account. I think it's a question of maturity. All right. So most women, they are still they haven't matured to that place yet. They're still in that place where they feel like someone is responsible or how happy they are for how successful they are, and so on and so forth. And because of that, they're unhappy and they're blaming people for it. Doc, as long as you keep blaming someone for something, you will never fix it because it's always that person's always that person's fault. I normally say that you're not a failure until you start blaming someone for your life, and that's the truth. Number three, number four, I believe I've given three reasons. Number four, one of the reasons why some women are not happy in their marriage is because they themselves and their husbands have not together work out how to be happy together. I think one of the things that has helped my marriage, let me just delve into, for those who are probably just meeting me for the first time. I met my wife online. We met on i5. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh.
So you and I. So this shows people that online
We could
dating
do a whole
does
session.
work, guys.
We could do
You
another
have two
session on this
couples.
online dating.
We have to do another session on online dating. I would never have guessed that. I
Oh
met my
wow.
husband on
Amazing.
Match.com. Oh
I
my
met her
goodness.
on high.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's the
I
number
met her on
two session.
high5.com. And this was
Yeah.
High Five was the one that was in between MySpace.com and Facebook.com. So just before Facebook came in, High Five. But my point was, when we met, we thought we were, courting each other quite well. We were asking the right questions. That's what we thought, right? We thought we'd known each other so well and everything would just be okay. And then we got married and started living together. We realized, oh my goodness, we actually don't know each other. So the first few years was tough. The first few years was challenging, getting to know her, she getting to know me. But I remember as we continue to mature, now we're 10 years in marriage, going to 11 years. As we continue to mature, there's something I normally would say to my wife. I would normally say to her, honey, we are going to enjoy this marriage. And I would re-emphasize it. In fact, I still said it last night. We're going to enjoy this marriage, whether we have money or not, whether somebody is, whatever is happening in the world, you and I, we are going to enjoy this marriage. We're going to be like teenagers in love. Those are the kind of phrases I normally make. And that's why I said that the reason why many people are unhappy, many women are unhappy, is because they themselves and their husbands have not sat down to decide what they will do, all right, to make them happy in their marriage, to make them happy in their home, to meet their own needs and all of that. And as long as you haven't sat down to do that, as long as you have not become intentional about doing that, then you'd always sometimes be hitting each other in the wrong places. Also, lastly, I'm going to put this as the last one. Like I said, there are tons of reasons, different reasons: domestic violence, disrespect, dishonor, and so on and so forth. But I want to point on this last one, which is many people do not bring God into their marriage. In fact, sometimes God didn't start it anyway. So God is like the last thought. You know how many people, it's when something goes wrong, they think about God. When there is fire, then we think about the
Yes.
fire brigade. So for some people, God is the fire brigade sort of thing to them. And another problem is that many people choose and they say they're asking God, but they never had a relationship with God in the first place. It's like me coming to you. I never had a relationship with you. You don't know me. I don't know you that well. And then I'm asking you for $1 million. I'm asking for something so important. All right, you don't know me. I don't know you. And then all of a
Yes.
sudden, Dr. Iyabo, I've been seeing your post on Instagram. I like you. I do this. Can you give me $1 million? I'm sure the
I
family is
know.
like, Rabbi blocked me instantly. Exactly. That's
What?
the very same thing relationship people have with God. All
True.
right. So they've never done anything with God. They don't know how God speaks. They don't, and then all of a sudden they say, God, speak to me. Let me know who I need to marry right now. Anyway, so God wasn't part of the foundation. And now they're trying to force God into the whole thing. And what we know according to the scriptures is if the foundation be destroyed according to the word of God, the Bible says, what can the righteous do? In other words, the righteous have very little choice to make in that regard. So those are some of the reasons I can pinpoint right now as to the reason why so many women are not happy in their marriage.
I love those reasons. Thank you, Dr. Sam. But as you were talking, you use the word maturity a lot. You use that a lot. And the question that comes to mind for me is, because you talk about maturity so much, so is there a certain age that makes sense for women to get married? Because I got married at 25, but I was very naive. I didn't know what I was getting into. People saw the red flag that still ended up that was the reason that ended my marriage. People had told me then, when I was 17, 18 years old, when we started dating, because we were both in medical school,
To see
but I
those
was too
things.
young to take it in. Yes, so you were talking about maturity a lot. So does age play a factor? Do women have to be a certain age before getting
Interestingly,
married?
age doesn't actually play a factor in maturity. You know that statement that age is just a number. To some extent, it is actually, in fact, 70-80% true. Age is just a number. A 17-year-old could be way more mature than a 50-year-old. Um, some people go through some things in life, but they don't learn from them. They are not conscious about their growth. They are not investing in their growth. They are not investing in their self-awareness. So that's why many people are not mature. They failed before, but they don't know why they failed. They've not really taken out the time to sit down, work on themselves, go for therapy, go for counseling, go for coaching, to actually know why they failed before they jump into another one. I was talking to a young person recently who's just gotten off a relationship, and I was literally advising him. I said, "Hey, boy, be very careful." He's a young man, so be very careful that you enter into another relationship as a rebound from this one, because that's the natural thing. You're going to feel like, oh, there's a vacuum here, let somebody else fill it. And maybe that person's actually looking around the corner. There's maybe another girl looking around the corner. They've been talking to you for a while, but you only just broke up with someone just a few days ago. The natural thing would be to allow this one back, maybe go and cry on her shoulders, and then something lead to something, and then you realize you're back in the whole cobweb of broken relationships. So one of the core reasons why many people are not mature enough is they have yet to take responsibility for their lives. So at age 40, you may not have taken responsibility for your life. It's very possible, and someone is responsible for your happiness. Someone's responsible for your upkeep. Someone's responsible for your joy and peace. So as long as there is someone responsible for you, for your growth, for your progress, for your joy, for your happiness, you are not mature. I remember there was a time when I was much younger, my dad defined maturity as responsibility, and I will never forget that. I think you know how when you're kids now, you can't wait to grow up. And why? Just because you want two meat on the pot, 2 pieces of meat on the pot on the dish. All right, you want to be able to do whatever you want and all of that. But the real key to maturity is responsibility. When you're able to take responsibility for yourself. Number two, is when you're able to invest in your self-awareness. All right. And I love to use the word invest because many people think, Dr. Sam, what do you mean? I know myself. I mean, I've been living in this body for the past for the past 40 years, so they just feel like they know themselves. But the truth is, they don't know. They don't know. I was speaking somewhere recently, and I asked the audience to raise their hand. I think we had about almost 100 people in the room. I said, raise your hand here if you know your temperament. You'll be shocked, Doc. Just about maybe 5 people, about 100 people know their temperament, are aware of their temperament. So some people are listening to this, they don't even know what their temperament is. They don't know what their personality type is. They don't even know. They don't know. They don't know. And because they don't know, they are also shocked by the way they behave. They are shocked by the things they do. They are shocked by the things they say. They are shocked by the decisions they make. And if you don't invest in self-awareness, some of these things, the knowledge of them will cost you money. And I was talking about, going for tests like the DISC test, the MBTI test, the Gallup strength test, some of these amazing tests that reveals who you are to be, the temperament test, obviously, that reveals a portion of your personality to you. Enough for you to be able to not be shocked by the things you do, not be shocked by the things that you are interested in, and so on and so forth. And as a result, you're more aware about yourself, and you're now intentionally aware of who to bring along on the journey of life. It's almost that simple. It's almost that simple. Maturity is not defined by age. It is defined by responsibility and self-awareness. And lastly, self-love. Some people don't like themselves.
Many women I call it comparisonitis. I wish they would put that word in the dictionary. Many women suffer from comparisonitis, and they don't want to admit it. They want to be another woman.
Because the truth is, until you love yourself, no one else can love you. That statement sounds very too simple, but it's actually loaded. No one can love who doesn't love themselves. Men listening to this or women listening to this, if you find someone and you're interested in a person, you have a crush on the person, you like the person, but the person does not love themselves, you will be wasting a whole lot of your time and years trying to marry that person, trying to go into a relationship with that person, because you will never be enough. You will never do anything enough to help that person. It's just that, there's no other way. It'll be too much baggage for you, too much to ask for, too much to get into.
Yes.
So please,
you're right.
One of the core ways for maturity, if you're listening to this, maybe somebody is going, "Oh my goodness, Dr. Sam, this is really talking about me. How do I practice self-love?" Yes, you should first of all accept yourself. Accept yourself. Embrace yourself. Take responsibility for your life and begin to learn from your failures, begin to learn from your past in ways that you're not blaming anybody and you're intentionally using what you're learning to move forward. Yeah, so those are some of the core tips. Of course, it's deeper than that. Maybe you can go for coaching with Dr. Iyabo and she can really expose all of those things to you. There are many rudiments to all of those things that we've just shared right now.
I wrote down that statement. I'm going to write it in my journal. Maturity is responsibility. I love it. I love it. It is simple and yet so true, because women, you'll find that women are self-aware when it comes to pointing fingers. When it comes to, he did this to me, he did that to me, that woman is this, that woman isn't good, she did this, she did that. But they will never introspect. Yeah, and I tell women, I said, if you're looking at me today and you're wondering how I always feel like, nothing bothers me, it's because I'm constantly introspecting. I expect a lot from myself, but I expect almost nothing from humans, but I expect a lot from my Heavenly Father. So yeah, I expect a lot from myself. I don't expect, I will never be disappointed if any human disappoints me. No, no, because the only two people that I expect everything from are myself and my Heavenly Father. But for women, it's the opposite. Women expect things from everybody else except themselves. But themselves. And then they'll wonder why they're miserable.
It's impossible to expect everything from everyone else but yourself and be happy. It's not a curse. You will never be.
You can't. So you have to shift that mindset, and there's no way that you're able to expect a lot from yourself if you don't love yourself first. So I knew that we were going to have a lot to talk about, you and I know, but let's go to
Okay.
what women want to hear. Okay, Dr. Sam, who exactly is a high quality
Mm.
or high value
Oh,
man? Break it
thank
down
you,
for
Ma.
us.
Let me summarize it in five key points. Okay, number one, a high quality man is a man who has God as the source. Very important. No man, not mom and dad, but God is their source. In other words, they have a relationship with God, and that I believe is very, very key. When a man doesn't see God as a source, he expects things from different people. That's where whenever a man maybe is down, even if it's in a marriage, he goes to another woman or goes to something else. And but when God is a source, God becomes his priority. He has a relationship with God. He's able to hear from God. I often say that your greatest asset in life, is your ability to hear from God. And number two, a man who has
Yes.
found his purpose. Not just because I'm the purpose preacher, but I've come to realize that when people have found their purpose, they are naturally more inclined to make the right decisions about their life, about their relationships, about their career. Why? Because then every of those decisions will revolve around their purpose, around their why. And whenever a man has found his why, in the words of Viktor Frankl, he can actually bear anyhow. So when you see a man who doesn't know his why, he will not be able to bear anyhow. He will not be resilient. He will not be able to persevere. He can even fall into depression and so on and so forth. So a high quality man is a man who knows God as his source, who has found his purpose. Number three, who knows where he's going. In other words, he has a vision. All right. No man can lead that does not have a vision. No man can lead that does not have a vision. A man who knows where he's headed and is able to paint the picture of where he's headed. I don't know why women will get into relationships with men who cannot paint precisely where he's going. How do you jump into a car? How do you jump into a car with someone who doesn't know where they're going? And you're like, oh yeah, and the guy says, and you ask the person, where are we going? Say, really don't know yet. And you jump into the car. Say, let's go. Let's go to where? To nowhere. So vision is the picture of where the man is going. I always talk about this. Interestingly, when I met my wife, this is almost over 15 years ago, I was telling her precisely what is happening in our life right now. I was telling her that I will be traveling the world preaching. I'll be traveling the world speaking. I'll be coaching people. I was saying it then, and I was just, how old was I? 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. I was saying those things because I had seen them. I've seen them ahead. And we talk about it today. That, oh, these are all the things that you always say, and they're happening right now. So it makes sense to be with someone who knows where they're going. Then you're able and then of course the woman too knowing where she's going as well. But we're talking about high quality man here. All right, number four, a man who knows his gifts, who knows his calling, who knows his assignment in life. This is extremely crucial because we see in the scriptures that when God created the woman, the Bible says that the woman was created to be the helpmeet for the man. That doesn't mean the woman doesn't have her own purpose, her own calling, but it appears that God intentionally, in putting order into the way things are done in the home, had made the woman to be a helpmeet for the man. So that means that if a man is not clear about his calling, about his gift, about what he's to do with his life, the woman can't really help him. Oh, and we have a lot
Yes.
of marriages with this kind of issue where the man is not clear about what he's doing with his life, and the woman is going there clueless too, clueless as well. So it's really crucial. A high quality man is a man that also knows his gifts, very important. And number four, a high quality man is a man that is not threatened by the potential of his wife or his woman or women in general. Some people are some men are threatened by women. I don't know where such insecurity has come from. They are threatened by the potential of the women around them, the potential of women they get into relationship with, and because of that level of insecurity, you see them becoming a monster. The moment the woman wants to fly or do something great. So a high quality man is a man that values you, their woman, If he doesn't value you, if he doesn't honor you, if he doesn't respect you, if he doesn't believe in your potential, believe in the value of your dreams, and is happy to help you reach there. I always say leadership isn't just headship. Leadership is servanthood, is servitude. So someone who is able to serve his way into helping you become who you're created to be is the high quality man, not the one who hears about what you want to become and is immediately intimidated by that or threatened by that and wants to do everything to stop you from doing that. And you think such a man loves you and is just maybe trying to protect you or whatever nonsense that you hear from women. No. It's a man who, and you can tell that from how he values his mother. You can tell that from how he values his sister. You can tell that from the kind of relationship he has with other women. And so even before you enter into a relationship with such a person, we're dealing with one right now in our home, in our counseling, who clearly the man doesn't value her, and the man, abuses her, say bad things about her, and she's here going, "Oh, is my man, what?" Like all the, it's not even flag right now. The wall is painted red, and you still can't see, but I understand that many people are led by their emotions, like where we started from, and not led by what is very glaring to the eye. So those are the five core things. There are more, but those are my own 5 core things that defines a high quality
man. Dr. Sam, are you sure you're finished? I didn't hear anywhere where you said the man has to be rich. Well, I don't think you're finished. I asked you what makes a high quality man or a high value man. You didn't tell me that he has to be rich.
When I was making those statements 15 years ago, I was not rich either. I didn't have money, but it was very clear that I knew where I was going. And of course, knowing where you're going means that all of those things will come along eventually. But so many people don't want to settle for that.
I'm just saying, I was waiting. I thought that was going to be number 1 because, that's what most women think is high quality or high value man. A man who earns 200,000, 500,000, 1 million, who can buy them this, buy them
a man
that.
Can earn
That's
500
what they
million,
think.
500,000, 1 billion, even be a billionaire, and beats the hell out of you. And beats the hell out of you.
In fact, that's how it happens most of the time. That materialism that makes them choose those men, they lose all of their inhibitions, they lose their self-respect, their self-worth, they forget about their purpose because of money, because of material things. This man sees that this woman doesn't have any self-value, so he abuses her, mistreats her, misuses her.
And he feels rightfully justified because he would claim that the woman is a gold digger because he had made all the things he needs to make and before the woman came along, and he would feel rightly justified to beat the hell out. So
you teach people how to treat you. If the man buys you with, and this is why I tell women, when you're dating a man, don't take gifts from them.
Yeah.
So that it will not cloud your vision. It's okay. Flowers are okay. A card is okay. Inexpensive gifts. Anything more than $50, $100, don't take it from a man.
Wisdom.
Because that's just going to inhibit your vision and your way of thinking. Okay, so the 5th one was very important. High quality men are not threatened by woman's success. I love that. Because most women deceive themselves and say, "Oh, I can't find any man because I'm earning 200,000, I'm earning millions, and there's no man who wants to date me because they're all intimidated by my money." And I'm like, erase that mindset.
Right, I always say, my wife is a medical doctor, I'm a lecturer, and I'm not afraid, I'm not ashamed or afraid to say this. My wife earns more than me salary-wise. Of course, we have a business that I run as a speaker and coach. Maybe I earn more than her in that regard. But one statement that I've always made from the very beginning, since those times I would paint the picture of where we're headed, I always tell her, I said, wherever you want to get to, I will help you get there. I will help. And I still say it to today. I think recently we were still talking about an exam she has to write. And I told her, I said, we're writing it together. We're writing it together means I'll be there if I have to be with the boys. In other words, our kids, if I have to be with the kids so that you can, you can maybe study a bit more, go back to the library, do this after work and all of that, or study a bit more. I'll be there. I'll be there. Why? Because you're my woman and your success is my success. I love how the Bible puts it. And ever since I read that in the Bible, it changed my perspective about my woman. The Bible says the woman is the glory of the man. In other words, the wife is the glory of the man. That's very interesting. If men are listening to this, it's something that you should also catch a revelation of in the Bible. So in other words, if my woman isn't doing very well, in other words, my glory is doing badly. When you define the word glory, it means your shine, your light, your essence is not doing well. So if God calls the woman your glory, I think that should make me feel like, okay, if there's anyone that would do well amongst the both of us, she has to do well. It should be her.
It should be her.
Glory. So in other words, her life, her success is a reflection of who I am. So if I want the world to see me, as wonderful, as great and all, then my wife has to be seen as wonderful and great too. She has to be doing well. She has to reach the summit of her potential. She has to, be able to do all the visions in her heart, fulfill all the visions in her heart, fulfill her potential. That is when actually my glory is shining. So that's how I see it.
Yes. Wonderful, Dr. Sam. You're a good man. You're a good man. And my husband is the same way. Nothing that I do intimidates him. I had bought this house before I met him. He sold his own house, just about 40 miles away from Atlanta. He moved in here. Nothing I do intimidates him. Everything I do, he supports. This morning, I still had some technical things. He supports me with. I can't even tell you how God brought me this special man. And because, when I met him, I'm thinking to myself, so men like this exist. Sometimes, you meet a man and you're like, really? They exist? But they do exist. They do exist. So yeah, all of these things you said are right. But I was waiting for the rich man. But anyway, let me stop with my jokes. Okay. What do men want in a wife? Let us get into the nitty-gritty now. What do you guys want
I'm not going to speak
in a woman?
For all men, because all men are different and we're all at different stages of growth and maturity. So I'm going to speak for myself and men like me, because I think that would then reduce, in research, that would reduce the reference we make from what I'm sharing right now. But I believe all women can learn from what I'm about to share. Number one, I believe women, or I as a man, or men like me, we love women who are intentional about their own growth. Intentional about their own growth. So we've talked about it earlier on. Some women are not necessarily intentional about their own growth. They leave the responsibility of their growth and their maturity to other people. They don't read books. They don't have any mentor. They don't go for coaching. They don't go for, counseling. They don't go for seminars, for workshops. They don't do anything about their own growth. Some people just, I don't know, they go to work and come back and watch Netflix and die. I personally can't deal with a woman like that, because I am a natural. I love to grow. I'm constantly investing in my growth, and I believe that a woman who's also constantly investing in her growth is really we're going to work well. And thank God for my wife, intentionally learning something new. We're consistently sharing things with each other that would help us grow. And that I think is very bless you. That I think is extremely, extremely important. So women, I believe men want you to be intentional about your growth. And part of that is being intentional about loving yourself as well. Because if you don't know yourself, you cannot love yourself. And you cannot love yourself if you don't know yourself. It's both ways. You never know yourself if you don't love yourself, and you never love yourself if you don't know yourself. So the more you're intentional about knowing yourself, about growing, about your maturity, the more you're able to love yourself, and the more you're able to maximize your potential and be all that you're created and called to be. Number two, we want women who respect and honor and value us. And I know some women will immediately argue and say, oh, but you value us first. I understand. But the most important thing is that you have a culture of honor. Some people don't have the culture of honor. Maybe it is because the way they were brought up, bless you, man, brought up in an abusive home or brought up in an abusive environment or past relationships that they've had. Maybe men didn't honor them and they didn't think rightly that they have to honor back. But I believe that one of the major ways to demonstrate love to men or to your husbands or men that you're in a relationship with is to value and honor and respect them. And of course, this is easily done when you've chosen the right person. I mean, you can have all these arguments in the world about, I doesn't honor me, he doesn't respect me. Hello, you are also a product of your choices. You've chosen the wrong person, hence you're dealing with it. So don't generalize that to all men. If you've chosen right, a man that is right for you would genuinely value you, would genuinely love you, and as a result, you would not find it hard to submit, to honor, to respect such a man. It's almost that it's like a leader. You have a leader who loves you, honors you, respects you, wants you to be the best person in the world, best that you can be. You will easily submit whatever they ask you to do. You would have done it before you even.
Yes. They will even have to ask
before you even wonder what did I even do? You've done it. All right. So that's number two. Number three, a woman who is teachable and accountable. So many women have a fixed mindset, and people in general, but women,
say that one again.
Have a fixed mindset about life, fixed mindset about God, fixed mindset about men, fixed mindset about themselves, and everything is the world revolves around them. Is only the way they see things that things can be seen.
My gosh. And they will argue it, and they wonder why they don't have peace. They will argue that fact.
That way. In fact, such women, they are the author of their own drama in their lives. So you've got to be teachable. You've got to be accountable. You've got to be a woman who genuinely believe that there is more to you than you know. There is more to life than you see. There is more to things than what you're able to see right now. And that perspective alone is responsible for your growth. That perspective alone is massively important for who you are becoming. Because otherwise, you are not becoming anything. If you have a fixed mindset, you're not becoming anything. And we know in life that if you're not becoming anything, then you never never close the gap between who you are now and who you are created to be. So that responsibility of being intentional about being teachable. You see some women, they don't have mentors. They don't have anyone that mentors them. They don't have anyone that coaches them.
Most do not. Most do not have mentors. They don't have mentors. They don't have coaches. They don't even prioritize that. What they spend their money on is on all of the material things, all of the things outside.
So if you're a woman,
they do not.
We men want you to be teachable. We want you to be accountable. We want to know who you are accountable to. Let's assume something drastic happens in our home, in our marriage. Who can I run to that can talk to you? All right. Who can I run to that can talk to you? Who can talk senses into you? Because we human beings, sometimes we can become rather sometimes we are full of ourselves, not necessarily because we are bad people, but because maybe at a particular point in time, all you see is one side, right? And maybe that sometimes makes you irrational in the way you behave. There's got to be someone who can talk to you. There's got to be someone whose perspective you readily buy. That would then help you make better decisions. There's going to be someone you're consistently listening to. I always advise my young mentees. I would say you need to identify your teachers in life. Who are your teachers? All right, 1, 2, 3, so are my teachers. Maybe because they are my role models. They have the kind of marriage I want to have. They have the kind of career I want to have. They have the kind of, and you're able to model your life after them. And if you get that opportunity to be close to them and they can speak into your life, even more amazing. So we men, we want women that are teachable. Also, we want
women, and can I stop you there, Dr. Sam? And we need to tell women about, because women will think that they have friends. and they can talk to those friends. So I want you to please touch on that, because as you're talking, women are going to be thinking mentor, coach. So I have to pay some. So a lot of women don't even believe in coaches. A lot of women, once they hear that word coach, they run away. So we need to change. And I guess it's mostly with us Black women. Most of my community is Black women. So I have to say Black women, African women, Nigerian women. Once you hear coach,
Money.
once
They
they
think
hear
money.
coach, oh, they want to take my money. They
They
are all
think money.
liars. They are liars.
Yeah.
They want to take my money. Then their friends are the ones they go and tell their problems. So it's like the blind leading the blind.
Oh my
Please touch
goodness.
on
We
that.
can never say enough. We don't even have the time to treat this issue of relationships and the importance of it in terms of maybe the success of your marriage and, of course, most importantly, your own success in life. But relationships are extremely crucial. And I always say there are three core relationships in every life. Number one, relationships with people that are higher than you. In other words, people who are already a model of the future that you want for yourself. Hopefully you have that. So many women do not have that. They don't have anyone that they look up to. So that's actually the one we addressed when we talked about you being teachable and being accountable. And then there are relationships with people, we call them your peers at your level. This one is extremely important because what we've realized, what we've found is that every relationship, they breed conversations. And every conversation is an exchange of energy. Every conversation is either helping you grow or is helping you not, is helping you remain where you are or retrogress. If you don't have the right friends who can tell the truth to your face, who are helping you grow, who are lifting your energy, not draining it, all right, you would always struggle with your direction in life. It may look like you are moving fast because you have all these friends who have money and all of those, but in the end, your direction is wrong. And the speed and direction, the most important is direction. You could go slow, but as long as you're going in the right path, it makes sense. But if you're going fast to nowhere, you will soon realize that you've been on a journey on your own. So how do you know the right friends for you? I always say this. Number one, you need to make sure you have friends who are consistently helping. They are committed to your own growth. They are consistent about your growth. In other words, they are the ones that are even supplying resources for you to grow. They see that conference somewhere and say, my friend, let's go. They see a coach somewhere and say, based on what we discussed last time, here is a coach that I think is good for you. They see a seminar somewhere, a book somewhere, they see something and they're literally pointing it back to you and say, friend, you need to get this book. You need to go and sign up for that coaching class. I signed up for this coaching class and it will help me. So I think it will help you too. Those are friends who are committed to your own growth. But what most women do is they just find women who are committed to their materialism and committed to, to find peace and find all of that. No, you got to find people who are committed to your future. Number two, people who don't drain you with their own burdens. No good friends will drain you with their burdens. And I'm not saying don't be a shoulder to cry on to your friends or they shouldn't be to you. What I mean is that those women, they are also personally responsible for their own lives. They have not placed the responsibility of their own life to you. There are some phone calls you would have, and in a matter of 2, maybe 1 hour, you have with someone, and it feels like your day is done. Those kind of conversations, and some women have those kind of friends. They speak with that person over the phone, and it's like, because that person has poured all their lives burden on you, and you now feel burdened as well. You take it out on your children, you take it out on your husband, you take it out on everywhere. No, that's the wrong friends. And of course, maybe there are instances like that. But if it's something that continues like every day, or you're not El Shaddai, you will soon die if you're not careful. So it's so important. So we have there are various ways, but those are the 2 frameworks that I will give for now as to how to choose the right friends. And when you have issues in marriages or issues in relationship, know the kind of friends that you speak to. And like Dr. was saying the other time as well, the choice of people to speak to you sometimes may not necessarily be friends, maybe coaches, maybe mentors, maybe people that are a model of where you're headed, a model of the kind of home you want. All right. And they will be able to give you perspective. Like recently, I was asking one of my mentors, Bishop Bob Alunge, And I was asking him about a particular aspect of my life right now. Do you know, ma, in every single thing I've considered about that aspect of my life, I did not even consider the perspective he gave me. I was blown away by the perspective he gave me about that thing.
Yeah.
I've spoken to my wife, I've spoken to my friends, I've spoken to some people about this, but the perspective he gave me was from the lessons he had learned. And of course, he's way older than me, but that perspective, I don't think I would have gotten it elsewhere. That's the role of a mentor.
Yes.
All right, that you have this.
That is key, because what we don't know in life leads to a downfall faster than what we feel we want to know. I don't know if I'm phrasing it well. There's no way you can know what you don't know. You know, how will you ever know what you don't know if you don't go and talk to somebody that can see it for you? And this is the missing link for a lot of women. They don't know what they don't know. And some women will walk around for their entire life, you know, not being able to associate with people like you and I that can point out to them, have you considered this? Have you? You know, so this is why it's important that all of those peers that they keep talking to, some women will stay on the phone all day talking to, and he did this to me, and then, Shobo, and then this one, and I'm thinking, you know, aside from all of that draining you, it is removing some of your brain cells. Honestly, it is depleting some of your brain cells, because all of that time you spent on the phone with that woman, like you said, if you picked up a book, you know, and read that book, you know, it would have strengthened you so much more. So women, you know, like Dr. Sam is saying, what you don't know is very, very important. So I want all of you today to ask yourselves, could it be that there's a lot I still don't know? You know, could it be? Because you said it now, that your mentor gave you something that you didn't even know. And this is you, that you're so evolved, so intelligent, so self-aware. But there's still many things you don't know. And this is why I have spent so much money on coaches in my own life, in my business life, in my personal life. Now, recently, I haven't had coaches, but in my 30s and my 40s, I spent tons of money on business coaches, on personal coaches, on conferences, on coding, because you can feel like you're the most intelligent person, but when you now listen to someone and you discover the things you don't know.
If you amazed at the road ahead of you.
Please carry on, Dr. Sam. I wanted to stop you there because a lot of women don't realize that there's a lot.
And every conversation is an exchange of energy. And that energy is either lifting you or draining you. So if you have friends that are consistently draining you, they are not the right friends for you. You need to fire them aside. Consistently draining you, you need to fire them aside. And then you have friends that you talk to and they're like, yes, go, you can do this, you can do that, you can become this, you can become that. You know, this is the book, this is the mentor, this is the coach, you know, and they're giving you, you know, I remember there's a scripture I normally use in the Bible that I really love. The Bible talked about the visit of Mary to Elizabeth. All right. And she went to visit Elizabeth. And the Bible says, I think Luke chapter 4 or something. The Bible says, as soon as she stepped in the door and greeted Elizabeth, like greeting, just normal greeting, hello, hi, how are you? The Bible said that the baby inside of, was it Mary? Both of them, the baby inside of them leaped. That's so powerful. If you have friends that are not pregnant and you are pregnant and they have nothing to offer you, what will happen is your own pregnancy will soon die, because there's nothing that is connecting what you're both pregnant with. You know, there's nothing that connects you both. The energy is not lifting you, the energy is draining you. So you soon find yourself on the floor, maybe like even like them as well. So it's extremely important that that's why I paying money, you know, to be in the presence of the right people is a great investment. It's not money down the drain. It's a great investment. There was a time I did a $30,000 coaching at a point, and Doc, it was one session a month, $30,000, $3,000 a month, one session a month, and every month I meet with this coach. This guy doesn't have a PhD. I have a PhD. This guy doesn't. Wait, I didn't even finish university or whatever. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is every perspective he brought to the session, there were things I either didn't know before, or I'd always seen but did not know the the why behind them and the how. And he would just
Yes.
effortlessly,
Mm.
Sam, the way you've been doing your coaching like that,
Yes.
I think it'll be like this. I
Effortlessly.
think you
That's the
should
word.
increase the price to this. The way you
Yeah.
could do this, do this, do this. And I did this, doc. And it was just working.
And it worked.
And with my
Yes.
PhD, I've been racking my brain,
Effortlessly.
I've been struggling. And somebody will just be, if you do
Yes.
this and do this and do that, you'll be fine.
That's the beauty of coaching. The beauty of coaching. Yeah. Beauty of it's like what happened to me to what 2 weeks ago. One of my previous coaching clients came to my DM and she thought I was going to charge her. She may even be on this line. She said, Dr. Iyabo, I have a question for you, but I just hope that you can, if you want to charge me, that's fine. I said that's fine, just ask me, because she's my repeat client. I said go ahead and ask me. And when we were talking, I just gave her one simple that I thought was simple.
Do
I
this,
just
do
said, you
this.
know what? It's the name you're calling your coaching program that is not even making you be able to charge for it. It's because you're calling it A and it should be B. And a light bulb went up in her. She's like, you're right. It's because I'm calling it this. I'm just giving away my service for free, but I'm calling it this rather than, so she would have been revolving in circles, maybe calling, and she's not like that. She's somebody who believes in coaching. She's been to me, quite a few times. But if not, she would have gone to ask the regular woman. They'll call some women, they will do this, and they'll be revolving in circles. Meanwhile, for me, it was easy. I was looking at it, assessing everything, and I'm like, why are you even calling it this? People are going to belittle the value from what you're naming it. So,
that's a perspective of a coach. That's a perspective of someone who's ahead of you, perspective of a mentor. Because we're talking about standing on the shoulders of giants, you're able to see farther. So women, if you're in this room, invest in your own coaching. So we're talking about what men want in a wife. So
what men want in a, we were on the topic of women have to be teachable.
I want to go to the next one. We want a purpose partner and a prayer partner. We don't want a prayer point. And someone who would drag us, instead of actually supporting us and encouraging us to fulfill purpose. Most women, because maybe sometimes some women haven't found their own purpose or they don't know their own calling, they don't see the necessity of having a why or supporting their man with their why. I've coached some men who are struggling because their women just do not believe in their calling. And because of that, the man is struggling because the woman that was supposed to be his best friend and his purpose partner isn't available, isn't there to be there because she didn't believe in that. So we want a purpose partner. We want you to believe in our dreams. We want you to believe in our purpose. We want you to believe in our why, in our calling. And believing that doesn't mean that you just say, I believe. No, that you are actively there. You are number one fan. You're always present. You're encouraging us. That's extremely crucial. And next, number 5, we want you to value the things that we value. And I'm going to value.
To what? To value? Did you say value?
Some women, because they're natural mothers or nurturers, sometimes we tend to belittle the things that your husband tend to value. So for instance, your husband may value me time, maybe to play on his console, or me time maybe to play with his friends, or some me time to watch soccer, to watch football, or some of those things. But you're like, that's those those are things that kids do. I mean, why do you want to be playing on your console? Why do you want to be why don't you cook instead, or but value the things that we value. They may look mundane to you, they may look childish to you, but I'm not sure whether most women are aware, but women, we love that. We still love to play. However old we are, even at our 60s and 70s, there's still some things we enjoy doing. Like watching football, for instance. I don't know if I would ever graduate from that. Sometimes I'll wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning to watch Arsenal. I value.
You are my husband and brothers.
As well.
Liverpool fan. Liverpool fan and rugby fan.
Pastor Kingsley. Thank you, Pastor Kingsley. Thank you for joining. God bless you, PK. Pastor Kingsley
Hello,
Okonkwo, God bless you, sir.
Pastor.
Thank you for joining.
Hello,
So, I mean,
Pastor.
we want you to value the things that we value. The things that we value may not necessarily make sense to you. They may look childish, but please value them. Value them. For it may not make sense to you at all, but the fact that we value them, it should make you value them. All right, and that makes us feel honored. But I know Pastor Kingsley will support your husband because he's a Liverpool fan as well, and he would.
My husband is a do or die Liverpool fan.
BKO, please don't drag me on this live. But we want you to value the things that we value, women, and when you do that, we feel honored, we feel respected, and we are able to give more. We're able to give more to you. We're able to value the things that you value. And my wife's number one fan in the things that she values, in the things she wants to spend time on, because she values the things that I value. I remember when we first started dating, my wife doesn't understand why I have to wake up at 2 a.m. to watch Arsenal, because I've been living in New Zealand for a long time, but she's realized that, oh, okay, this will never change. This will never change. Oh, and lastly, I have so many things I've written down, but I'm just going to add maybe two more. Let's do two more. We want women who also want a beautiful marriage. And that's not just necessarily by a beautiful marriage as a dream, but a beautiful marriage by intention. Like you intentionally want to have a beautiful marriage. You are ready to pay the price for a beautiful marriage. And that might mean that maybe sometimes we don't have enough today. That might mean sometimes maybe we're in disagreement, but you realize we're in a team. And because we're in a team, we're both working out things to help us have a beautiful marriage. So it starts with your intention, that you're intentional about us having a beautiful marriage. And you want to have a beautiful marriage. You're ready to pay the price of a beautiful marriage. And lastly, we don't want women with drama. My friend, one of my friends and I were talking about someone. This lady, I've known her for, I think, over 12, 15 years. And I cannot remember a time she's out of drama. I'm still, Doc.
Dr. Sam, specify to us what you mean by drama.
This person is always in constant fights and quarrel and disagreement with somebody. If not with somebody, with ourselves. There's just something going on. Like, you know what I mean? This person appears like peace is far from them. Peace is a non-relative. They don't like peace. You know that social media thing. I don't like peace.
I know what you mean.
And this person, even when she is not fighting, the person will look for the fight by herself. She will go and,
because she's not spending time to introspect. Those kinds of people, they are so sensitized by everything going on around them. They forget to look within. She forgets that her peace is within her.
I'm imagining the person that would marry such a lady, and I'm already personally sorry. Sorry for the person, because oh my goodness, he's gonna have his hands full, settling issues. So we want women to realize that. Let me add this last part. I always like to talk about this last part. Let's talk about sex, shall we? We men, especially for most of us, there's a likelihood that we would have a higher libido, a higher maybe sense of sexual energy than you women. And maybe we could box this into valuing what we value. A man, for most men, let's say most men, because I'm aware that there are some women with higher sexual energy than men. So most men value sex massively. They see it as a need, not as a want. And for you as a woman, for most women, they may not see it that way. In fact, for you, you're like, what's this thing? Why do we have to have it every day? Or why do we have to have it every other day or something like that? But your husband values it. And that makes him a lot desired. This is one of the things I always say to my wife. I said, when we do this, I feel desired. And dare I say that one of the most important communication in marriage or in relationships is to communicate how you feel. Don't ever marry someone that plays down how you feel, that argues how you feel. Men with men, if you have a husband who you tell, this is how I feel about something, and they play it down, you are going to be in that marriage for a long time unless that person learns So if you say, oh, the way you said that thing, it made me feel like this. All right. And that person doesn't apologize for the
Yes.
way you felt about that. And they argue your feeling with you, you're going to be there for a long time. So back to the topic. So I always tell my wife, I say, when we do this, this is how it makes me feel. It makes me feel desired. It makes me feel intimate with you. It makes me feel connected with you. So whereas maybe that is not necessarily the way she feels about it, that doesn't dispute or necessarily relegate how I feel about it. Yeah.
How you feel. Your feelings are
Extremely
still relevant.
And that means if you don't value my feelings, if you're not careful and I'm pushed to the wall, all right, you may just realize that someone else is valuing that and that person is giving me attention and I'm going gaga, I'm going crazy. And that's what happens to a lot of people. Maybe they're not necessarily intentional about cheating, but someone else values the things they value, and their wife or their spouse or husband or whatever, because it can happen both ways, do not value the things, they do not value their feelings, do not validate their feelings, and and someone else is out there like really appreciating their feelings and all of that. You're in trouble already before it started. So, women, even if you don't have the highest form of sexual energy, maybe to match your husband, you need to validate his feelings about sex and lovemaking. That you tend to have that communication and discussion about how you could actually meet that need. Maybe not necessarily fully at the level that you want it, but how both of you can meet in the middle somewhere. And one of the core ways that you can show your husband that you value, that aspect of your relationship is that you can be intentional about initiating sex. You can be intentional about learning more about it. You can be intentional about actually being an active player, during times of intimacy. There's so many things, and I'm not necessarily the expert in this. You can be intentional, women also, about communicating your own needs and pleasure to your husband. Maybe the reason why you're not necessarily interested is because you feel like your needs are not actually being met in the place of intimacy. Communicate it. Hopefully you've married the right man that is teachable. Okay, we talked about that. Hopefully you've married the right man that is teachable and humble enough to be able to listen to you and listen to your pleasure points, listen to the things you want, listen to the things you want being done to you, and is ready to pleasure you and to satisfy you. So we want women in general to be able to value that. And I think that's important. And I believe I'm speaking for most men in that regard.
These points were so important, and it's very quiet in here. I don't think I've done a live where women have been this quiet before. I'm sure a lot of these points, they're taking it in and they're like, what? These are the things that, but these are the non-superficial things. These are the real things that men want. I agree with all of them. And maybe I'll add communication. You did say it at one point. You said you have to say how you feel. You have to be able to communicate how you feel. So these are also important. Now, there's one question, but before I ask that question, Dr. Sam, do you have about 10-15 more minutes? Okay, so I want to ask you kind of 3 questions in one, because they're kind of related, okay? My first question is, why do Christian men comprise a high number of abusers? I don't know the statistics, but in my world, in my statistics, the majority of women who come to my DM and complain about physical abuse, emotional abuse, cheating by their men, they say their husband is a Christian, or they even met their husband in church, or he was the pastor's friend, or he was a church worker. So why is that? Because that's kind of disappointing. That's one part of my question. The second part of my question is, why do men cheat? I think you kind of brushed on that a little bit in your last conversation. Why do men cheat? And then there are also many women who say that their men are no longer interested in having sex with them. Why does that happen? Actually, I'm going to kind of put in a fourth one there. How can women understand that men want them to take care of themselves. I understand that with childbirth and all of that, and with work and kids and everything,
Yeah.
it's easy to put on weight. But you believe it or not, I've had quite a few men come to my DM saying, I love your teaching. I'm going to send my wife to your platform because my wife has let herself go. And if I dare talk about weight or that she should exercise or watch what she's eating, she pounces on me and she's angry. So I want to ask you those four things. Why do Christian men abuse? Why do men cheat? Why are some men just no longer interested in having sex? And how do men feel about women who just let
Wow.
themselves go?
We're going to need like 5 hours.
I
Those are
know we have
really
to do part
powerful
two,
questions.
but
Yeah,
try to give us
let me
some
give
quick.
some quick. So please, you can kindly remind me of those questions again as I pick them one by one. So number one is why do Christian men, you know,
Abuse
yes.
their wives. Why do they comprise such a large number? Christian men, they met them in church. They are the pastor, maybe they're even the pastor
Yeah.
themselves or the pastor's brother, and they're
I believe
abusing their
very strongly that
wives.
it is not necessarily a Christian man thing, or I believe it's just women choosing the wrong man, going for the wrong man. We've talked about, if you missed that and you just joined us, we talked about high quality men the other time. You would notice I didn't say it must be a Christian man. I actually talked about,
I
yes,
noticed
I said that
that.
a man that has a relationship with God. In other words, a man that submits to God. So it is possible for somebody to be going to church and not submit to God. Just like the same way you find everyone, in a hospital, and not all of them are patients. Or you find someone in a bus in a bus stop, and not all of them are actually going with the bus. So it's extremely crucial to not say, oh, because I met him in church, or because it's actually even a pastor, then is the right man for me. No, 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 no. The Bible says, by their fruits you will know them. So you need to look at those fruits that we
Yes.
talked about that the other time in the high quality man. All right. Is God is source. All
Thank
right.
you.
Is he taking responsibility for his life? Does he have a vision? Does he know his purpose? Is he accountable? Is he teachable? Does he have a mentor? I always say a man that does not have a mentor is a dangerous man. He's a dangerous man.
Hmm.
There's no way you can help me explain. I've seen young people try to explain, and the reason why he doesn't have a mentor is because I don't, whatever explanation you have for it is just wrong. People who don't submit to God and don't submit to other people will abuse you. Let's just say it plainly the way it is. Let's just say,
I
let's just say the
like
truth.
that.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. When I met my husband, one of the first things, aside from him having a very strong relationship with his dad, one of the first things he told me was about this mentor friend that he had in California. And he still speaks to that friend every weekend. Last weekend, I was there laying beside him on the couch, and he and that guy were having a FaceTime conversation. And he said this guy has been, beside him, that even
And
when he
they've
was a teenager, when he
grown
was trying
together.
to, act out and all that, this guy would always put him back on
It's so
balance. So
key.
that is so
If you
key.
go, if
Yeah.
I think some women are blind by their emotions, that they don't take this as extremely critical. You see a man you like, and you're not asking, who's your mentor? Who's your spiritual head, for instance? Who do you submit to? All right. What's your relationship with God like? And we're not necessarily talking about a religious man here. I'm not a religious person. I'm very intentional about my relationship with God. And I always tell my wife, I said, if somebody calls
Yes.
me to preach today and you tell me it's time for us to be intimate, I'm going to tell those people to wait. I'm coming. I'm going to tell them to
Yes.
wait because my wife needs me right now.
Yes.
It's almost that simple.
Yes.
And a man that doesn't submit to other people, who doesn't submit to other people, will not lead you, because what we know about leadership is that leadership is not just bossing people around. Leadership is first of all submission and
Yes.
service and servitude. When a man is not submitting to
Yes.
anybody, they cannot lead you effectively. So, in terms of Christian men, it's not
So
necessarily
true.
Christian men.
I love
It's not
this
necessarily
part.
Christian men. Women
Yeah.
are just choosing wrongly. They're just choosing men that are going to church. In fact, some women, the reason why they are going to church is so that they can find a man that is from church.
Yes.
But there are
Oh, but
devils in
that's so
church.
true. And they don't look at what he's made of. They don't look at his characteristics, his personality. Just because he goes to church, they've given him a check mark.
There are devils in church, there are demons in church, there are wife abusers in church, there are, somebody is saying that if a woman chooses the wrong man, how can she choose the right man? That's hopefully we'll be able to treat that question later on. But that's the answer to that first question. Should we treat this question, or we should go to the second one?
Let's treat this question. Actually, let's treat this question, and I'm going to ask you the question from the first woman before we go to the other. So please treat this question.
How can she choose the right man? Great question. So maybe you've consistently been choosing the wrong people. Consistently, it has become like a norm for you. You need to look at yourself. You need to look at yourself, because the constant in that choice is you. It's not you have been choosing different people, but the main person that needs to be worked on is the person choosing, not the choosee. Is the chooser.
Not the choosee, the chooser. Not the choosee, but the chooser.
We need to the choosee. The chooser. Sorry, needs to now look back on themselves and say, "Hey, why am I choosing wrongly always?" And then you realize that it's because of all those things we discussed earlier on. So if you missed this, you watch it on Doctor's YouTube channel later, about the things about yourself as a woman. Maybe you don't love yourself enough. Maybe you're still insecure. You're not growing. You're not mature yet. You haven't taken responsibility for your life. We talked about a lot of things. So I recommend, if you did not catch all of that, then if you start to do all of those things, all of a sudden you will realize that you're more aware about your choices than you were before, and that will be a game changer. Doc, let's take the other question. I believe that has answered that person.
Yeah, the other question, that first question was about a man knowing his purpose. She said that, I don't remember the exact words, but she was asking that, can a man figure out his purpose after marriage? She said, according to the boss analogy. I don't know what the boss analogy is. Do you know what that is?
What I know as a boss analogy is from Myron Golden, but that is not necessarily purpose related. That's more of marketing related.
Yes, boss as in B-U-S.
B-O-S-S is Myron Golden.
But she was basically, her question was, does a man have to know his purpose before marriage?
Strongly, that a man should know their purpose before marriage, but also the man can discover after marriage. So let's say maybe they, in quote, did not discover it before marriage, but now they're listening to this, right? They can now become intentional about knowing their purpose, all right? But let's say a single man is listening to this. Please, I want to beg you personally, don't get married until you have discovered your purpose. Why? Why is that so important? Like we said at the beginning, all right? A woman, in quote, in marriage was made to be your helpmeet. And what she's primarily helping with is your calling and your purpose. So if you don't know your purpose, she has nothing to help with. That woman will be frustrated in the marriage. She would feel like she doesn't necessarily belong because she doesn't have anything to help you with. She doesn't have anything to do, so to speak. And that will frustrate her. But if you are already married, then you can fix that by still going to discover your purpose, and then you can right those wrongs. How do you discover your purpose? You would say, we don't have the time to get into all of that, but you can come. You can come to the School of Purpose and Influence, spinuniversity.org.
Oh, yeah.
And we can help you discover your life's purpose there. spinuniversity.org. So I think we've treated those two questions from our audience. Maybe then we should go to the questions that you mentioned earlier on, Matt. So we've talked about the Christian men.
Yeah. And just quickly, because I still want you to give like 3 tips for single women who are looking to meet a high quality man. 3
tips for people who are looking to meet a high quality man. Number 1, stop looking.
Stop looking.
What do you mean? Stop.
You are so correct. It's when I stopped looking that my husband came into my world.
Stop looking. I think sometimes we are so, and ladies or women or men, whoever is looking for a spouse now, but we're talking to women now, single women who are looking for, stop looking. Stop being overly, driven by looking. Who's there? If you're not careful, you just choose the wrong person because they're just looking. I think focus more on yourself. Focus more on working on yourself. Focus on being happy, on being fulfilled, on being peaceful, on growing, on maturing, on loving yourself, on being self-aware. There's so much. If you miss that part of the conversation, please, you watch it later in the replay, okay? Because it's so rich, it's so deep. All of those things that we talked about, when you do those things, when you do those things for yourself, oh my goodness. Can I add a scripture? Oh, I see Steve Harris. Bless you, sir. God bless you. A great coach, and a big boss as well. There's a scripture. The Bible said about Hannah. Hannah had been barren for a long time. But there was this day that Hannah went to pray at Shiloh. And the Bible says when, the priest had sort of validated her prayers, the Bible says Hannah went home happy and not sad or something like that. I like how King James Version put it. Her countenance was no longer sad. Guess what? It was that very night or that very period that she gave birth. This is so powerful. The Bible did not record that the husband was involved in the prayer or the husband did anything in particular, or it was just that she went to pray. Her prayer got answered. She felt a sense that she had prayed through and her countenance was no longer sad. It is what you do to yourself that makes your countenance amazing, that makes you attractive, that makes people love you, that makes people to see you. Yeah. But when people don't see you when you have given up on yourself, people don't see you when all you're doing is trying to look for other people. People don't see you when you're not working on yourself. People don't see you when you're not taking responsibility for your own life. People don't see you when you're not self-aware and self-assured. People don't see you when you don't practice self-love. People don't see you when all these things that we've talked about women earlier on, you're not doing it to yourself. People will not see you. The right man. In fact, let me shock you. People will see you, by the way, but it will be the wrong people.
Oh, the purpose preacher. I'm getting goosebumps listening to this.
So let me just quickly backtrack. People will see you, but it's the wrong people that will see you. It is the people who want to abuse you that will see you. It is people who want to oppress you that will see you. It is people who want
people that know, the people that can see that you're desperate.
I'm sorry to say the people won't see you. It is the right people that won't see you, but the wrong people, they will see you. You are easy targets. You know all those men who abuse their wives and abuse people, they target them. They know the right woman to abuse, the right one to beat, and you'll be an easy target for them.
When women come to me and they're like, he's cheating on me, he's cheating on me, he's cheating on me, I'm like, but you are allowing it. You're saying he's cheating on you, but you're still there. You are allowing it. He has no consequences for the cheating. You are just there.
I believe that's the answer to that question. Stop looking, women. Start working on yourself.
I want to ask you a question related to this, please, Dr. Sam. I posted a reel related to what you're saying now about how women should focus on themselves and do this and focus on their purpose and all that. And quite a few women sent me a DM and say, so Dr. Iyabo, essentially you're just saying we have to be perfect before we meet a man.
No.
Please comment on that.
So it is easy to hear all the things that we're talking about and feel like, oh my goodness, Dr. Sam and Dr. Iyabo are saying that, I have to be perfect before I can get married. So maybe perfect physically, perfect emotionally, perfect spiritually. No. What we mean is that you need to be on the journey. You need to be on the journey. You need to be intentional.
Yes.
You need to have a vision of where you're headed and be on that journey. And the right man will find you on that journey. I've come to realize it is the people who are headed in the same direction that often find themselves. Of course, sometimes you cross paths with people who are going the other direction. It is your sensitivity and awareness of your journey that helps you to realize, no, I'm not headed in the same direction with this person, and you refuse to follow them. But when you also meet people who are headed in the same direction as you, all of a sudden everything will click. All right. It doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean they're perfect, but you're headed in the same direction. And it will just click. Like I said, when I met my wife, she was 19. She was 19. Yeah, she was 19. I was 22, thereabout. But everything about our future, she had seen herself also following her husband to preach and to speak. right? And she hadn't met me. I also have seen myself preaching and speaking and all of that. She saw herself as a medical doctor practicing, you know, in the best of clinics and hospitals worldwide. And I was there, not necessarily in quote looking for a woman who was a medical doctor, but I was there ready to help that woman I'm going to marry be the best version she can be. So when she was telling me all of this, and I was telling her all of that, everything was making sense. I was like, yes, this is the right woman for me. This is the right. She too was saying that immediately she knew that this was her husband, even though we hadn't seen each other. We didn't see each other until after 2.5 years after those conversations we were having. All right. But immediately our visions aligned. That's what we are talking about here. We're not necessarily saying you have to be perfect. Am I perfect? No way. Is my wife perfect? No way. In fact, we're still working on ourselves and we're already married. So you get the point we're trying to make here. Don't feel like you have to be perfect. No, we just mean you have to be on that journey. You have to be on that journey, and that's what's important. And that's why you need a coach. That's why you need a mentor. That's why you need to do all these things that we're talking about.
Wonderful. Yeah. So what are the other things? What are your top tips for single women who are looking to meet a high quality man? So you said they should stop looking, they should focus on themselves. Anything else?
Work on themselves. And some of those working on themselves, number one, is finding your own purpose. As a woman, it is extremely crucial that you know your own purpose. So you have a purpose. You're not just a secondary citizen in God's agenda. You know, some women believe they're just a secondary citizen in God's agenda, and God really doesn't care about them because it's such a chauvinistic God. No, He has a purpose for every person, and that includes you. So why don't you spend some time finding your own purpose as well? Now that you're single, find your own purpose. Number two, work on your vision. Where do you see yourself? You know, I personally, I am attracted to confident women. Women that are confident about where they're going. All right, confident about their vision. And that's why I love my wife. You know, confident. She knows what she wants. She knows where she's going. And every time she would tell you, "This is what I want. This is where I'm going." And I love. But some women are so ignorant even about their own future. They have no idea where they're going. They have no vision of the future. And as a result, even a man can lead you, a man can guide you, a man can support you, a man can help you, and you're frustrated right there. So spend some time as a single woman knowing all of this is about yourself. All right, know your calling. Know what it is that helps you, you know, live a fulfilled life. Know the things that you need to do to impact your world, to make the world a better place, to bring positive change in our world, and so many of these things. Work on your character, you know, so that you don't become that drama queen that we mentioned earlier on. So those are some of the small little tips that I can give right now, so that we can go into all the other questions.
Whew. Do you still want to cover those things I asked you? There's no time. We can do it on the next live. I want to be respectful of your time.
Let's do it another day. Because
let's do those another day. So they're deep questions. Let's do it another day. This was wonderful, Dr. Sam. And my hope and my prayer is that women will watch the replay over and over, because we packed a lot into this. Women, if you watch this video over and over, you watch it today, you watch it on Saturday, you watch it during a walk, you watch it while you listen to it while you're driving, I'm telling you, your life will change. Your expectations, because many of you, there are many single women that follow me, a lot of them in their 20s, 30s, 40s, that are yearning for a good man. This is the video you need. I can't think of anything else that Dr. Sam did not discuss on here. But there are many things that will shock you. There are many things that you'll be like, what? He didn't say this. Well, because, you know, you're listening to humans that don't know what they're talking about. So women, please, this is very important. It's going to be on my YouTube channel, and it will be on the Purpose Preachers YouTube channel as well. We'll have snippets on our Instagram here and there. But Dr. Sam, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for waking up early to come and, you know, bless women and point to women. I really appreciate it, and I hope in the next few months we'll be able to get together again and have another conversation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. God
have a good rest of the day.
Thank you. Regards to your wife and to your wonderful sons.
And to your family as well, to your husband.
Thank you.
And your wonderful children. God bless you.
I
Talk
will.
soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Amen.